Welcome back to Twitter Versus. A few weeks ago, Hasan Piker went to Cuba on a humanitarian trip. While there, he streamed from a 5-star hotel and wore a luxurious fit. Like a $3,000 Cartier ring, a $1,500 Cartier glasses, and not to even mention, a $700 button-up shirt. All the while preaching about how bad America and capitalism is. Many people on Twitter are clowning on him, so let's see what they have to say. Yeet tweets, Hasan explains the difference between Miami Cubans and Cubans in Cuba. Cubans, best people. So kind, so welcoming. Just the absolute best. All the good Cubans stay here, and most of the ones that are crazy just flew up there. I had a really funny experience. We got into an Uber last night. Marchie and I were about to discuss that we were going to be flying to Cuba, talking about plans. I was like, Marchie, don't say anything. I noticed that the dude in the car was a Miami Cuban. And then I just asked him, where are you from? Oh, Cuba. I asked him what his feelings are. He said, Donald Trump needs to finish the job. It's just a strange cognitive dissonance to experience.
Cubans, fucking best people, okay? So kind, so welcoming, just the best. Just the absolute best people. Oh my lord. Okay? Anyway, but yeah, we worked hard and we were able to set up a goddamn stream, you know? Not in Miami. Oh, dude, it's the reversal. Actually, literally, like, exact opposite. Like, all the good Cubans stayed here, and most of the ones that are crazy just like flew up there. I swear to God, I had a really funny experience with that. It's like we get in the car, we get into Uber last night. March and I are about to discuss that we're gonna be on Cuba, like talking about plans, right? And I was like, March, don't say anything. Because I noticed that the dude in the car was a Miami Cuban. I was like, don't. Like, I literally went, don't say anything. And then I just asked him. I was like, where are you from? And he's like, oh, Cuba. And I was like, okay. And I just asked him about, like, you know, what his feelings are about what's going on. March actually spat some Spanish at him. Okay. And let me tell you, okay, he said, Donald Trump needs to finish the job. That's what he said. That was the first guy. And this is like, I guess this was March's first real interaction with like a Miami Cuban. You know what I mean? This was his first ever interaction with a real Miami Cuban, like a real ass Miami Cuban, right? So he was like kind of shocked. And I know what the stream Fs look like, Megaphonics. I'm monitoring it. I'm monitoring the situation and I'm monitoring the stream as well. So March had not experienced that at all. So that was like his first ever inclination. And the guy had no family here. They were all in Miami, right? So like, you know, obviously he was the classic, like, you know, bomb it all, like God sorted out type guy. And then this morning we had another conversation. But this guy was actually so on Trump. And he was still like, oh, the government is like everything. It's bad, blah, blah, blah. Communism is bad. But he was a little bit more open-minded because I was able to like talk to him about the embargo. You know, they have this very weird attitude about it. On the one hand, they understand what their families' lives looked like or felt like when there was a little bit of sanctions relief, and like they could send money with ease to their families, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a strange cognitive dissonance to experience in real time. But, you know, I gave a couple interviews at the airport and stuff, and then we flew in.
Gosu Prime replies, Miami Cuban? Notice how the left are incredibly racist and ignorant if you decide to migrate somewhere because you want to leave a communist regime making people suffer? This piece of shit is more racist than Donald Trump could ever be, by the way. Black Cat says, you may not like it, but this is what peak streaming looks like under communism. Yeet continues with, Hasan talks about the beauty of Cuba and what he did after his first broadcast. Linked up with the Progressive International boys, I met Jeremy Corbyn, hung out with the Kneecap boys, we went out and drank at a local establishment, and we have just been living La Vida Loca. Just peppering people with wads of cash, with hopes that there is a little bit of economic respite for each individual Cuban we encounter. I am overcome with emotions and at the beauty of this island, the beauty of the people. Truly one of my favorite places officially. The people's resilience. There's rolling blackouts that take place every day all around the country, but today's a beautiful day here. 75 degrees. People are partying in the streets. I don't know if it's like an island mindset, but like they're just chilling.
Like last night we ended the broadcast and I went and linked up with the Progressive International boys. I met Jeremy Corbyn. That was fantastic. And I hung out with the Kneecap boys. We went out and drank at like a local establishment, and we have been we've just been living La Vida Loca. Honestly, we've just been living life, living large, and just peppering people with just wads of cash for the most part, with hopes that there's like a little bit of economic respite for each individual Cuban that we encounter. A lot of the info that you hear and see from the island is like directly coming from, like, most of the time, like National Endowment for Democracy Foundation backed individuals, State Department propaganda, things like that. But in any case, I am overcome with emotions at the beauty of this island and the beauty of the people. It's incredible. It's truly one of my favorite places officially. I totally understand why Will was saying that about Cuba. It's remarkable. The people's resilience is remarkable. There's like rolling blackouts that take place throughout the day, every day, all around the country, right? 11 million people. But today is a beautiful day out here. It's like 75 degrees, sunny. People are partying. People are partying in the fucking streets. I don't know if it's like an island mindset. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but like, they're just chilling. Like, the Cubans just, they vibe. They chill. They just literally vibe. It don't matter. Like, it's incredible. Yeah, there's like festivals everywhere, like all around. There's like little mini festivals that they put forward, like block parties that they do. Is Global South mindset South Africa?
Radical Moderate says, this dude went from a flotilla to flying and now streaming in a hotel about how virtuous this trip is. Bro, you did nothing. No aid, just you LARPing as an advocate. Pathetic. Ben Eaton retorts, you say no aid, but they brought over 20 tons of supplies with them, including solar panels, medical supplies, foods, etc. Blue Block replies, it won't make a damn of difference. You know why? Because the government itself lets the vast majority of those donations rot in the ports. Cubans themselves have to go steal just to get their hands on something in a month's time. Their aid won't be worth jack shit. Yeet continues with Asmongold on Hasan's extracurricular activities in Havana. Isn't that guy, Jeremy Corbyn, a retard? Why would you want to meet a retard? So, you went down to Havana to hang out with other celebrities? Man. Look how poor Cuba is, man. They can't even afford normal-sized cups. This is the biggest cup they have in Cuba. AT&T shut down his account? Well, now you're definitely not going to Ludwig's next event.
Doing a stream his drank at a local bar, he gave money away? Wait, what is this? Is this another one?
Not having any bandwidth whatsoever. I have no idea what's going on. Like, last night we ended the broadcast and I went and linked up with the Progressive International boys.
Yeah.
I met Jeremy Corbyn. That was fantastic.
Isn't that guy a retard? Why would you want to meet a retard? Yeah, I thought he was isn't he? I think he's retarded, isn't he? Okay, yeah, I was wondering.
And I hung out with the Kneecap Boys. We went out and drank at like a local establishment, and we have been we've just been living La Vida Loca, honestly.
So let me get this straight. So you went down to Havana to hang out with other celebrities?
We've just been living life, living large. And, you know, just, right? I'm telling you all this because, like...
Look how poor Cuba is, bro. They can't even afford normal-sized cups. That's sad. This is the biggest cup they have in Cuba?
Even the 5-star
Jesus,
not, like,
man.
You know, they're...
God, that's really bad.
It's not...
It's so ridiculous, isn't it? Jesus, guys, raise the pinky. Yeah, it's not very fancy. And AT&T shut down his account. Wait, what?
Cuba, and boy, do I have a show for you. Boy, do I have to tell you all about the things that have happened. My phone is basically just a non-functioning brick at this point. AT&T shut off my account.
Yeah.
Because I was using too much data in Cuba for my own safety, I guess. Even though I functionally have had no data in Cuba whatsoever, but we're still doing the damn thing. And I have a bunch of interviews lined up with Cuban doctors, regular Cuban folks.
Well, now you're definitely not going on Ludwig's next event. Yeah, now it's definitely not going to happen.
And, you know, we're going to talk about their energy grid. But
now you're really on the
blacklist.
blacklist.
I'm going to be talking.
TribeBat replies, Jeremy Corbyn was a Labour MP that ran for PM and got laughed out of politics because of how bad he was. Let that sink in. He is from the same party as Stammer is, the leader of, and Stammer was less damaging to Labour than what he was. Flopathon says, Hasan, as your internet opponent, is like cheating in a game. Everything handed to you on a silver platter. That's how easy he is to mock. You don't have to do anything. Just let the moron speak. Yeet continues with, Nicholas Diorio compares Hasan peppering Cubans on the street with wads of cash to a Mr. Beast video. Frat boy politics. Went to Cuba to go drink in the pub. Maybe some humanitarian shit happened there. This is like some Mr. Beast video shit. They just didn't film it. We're in Cuba with $50 million, and we're going to be giving it to the first people that walk up to us while we're drinking at the pub tonight.
Hasan talking about what he did after his first broadcast, so this could give us a bit more information on how his humanitarian aid has been progressing.
Last night, we ended the broadcast.
Nicholas, the GOAT.
And I went and linked up with the Progressive International boys. I met Jeremy Corbyn. That was fantastic. And I hung out with the Kneecap Boys. We went out and drank at like a local establishment.
Dude, no way, bro. Dude, frat bro politics went to Cuba to go fucking drink in the pub. Okay, all right. Stream over. Let's go drink in the pub. Maybe some humanitarian shit happened there.
We have been, we've just been living La Vida Loca. Honestly, we've just been living life, living large. And, you know, just peppering people with just wads of cash for the most part.
Is that it? They're just walking around just giving money to people on the side of the road?
With hopes that, you know,
you're just peppering people with wads of cash. There has to be a better way.
It's like a little...
We're just arming every person. Guys, if you just happen to be like tangentially close to fucking...
bit of economic respite.
This is spring break for politics, yeah.
For each individual...
he's just throwing wads of money at people. This is the only way we can make it work.
Cuban that we encounter. A lot of the info that you hear and see from the island is like directly coming from like most of the time like national.
Dude, unironically, people will say crazy shit like this all the time. This is some like Mr. Beast video shit. They're just not filming it. We just went to Cuba with $50 million, and we're going to be giving it to the first people who walk up to us while we're drinking at the pub tonight. I'm Mr. Beast, and we're going to... Dude, yeah, this is literally... I'm sorry. It's a Mr.
Kick
Beast.
It IRL replies, Hasan's Cuba trip was just textbook performative activism. Peppering random people with cash handouts while drinking at the pub isn't humanitarian work. Red replies, FYI, Don't trust a word streamers in general say without any proof. Hasan Abi makes shit up constantly, so if there's no footage of him giving money to randos on the street, it didn't happen. Every time he does any charity, he always makes sure people see how good he is. We continue with Yeet saying, Hasan addresses the 5-star hotel situation and says he will be staying at Casas Particulares on his next visit. That is objectively the truth. I just said literally what the American government restrictions are, and people were like, sure buddy, so odd. The Treasury Department makes it illegal for American citizens to stay at whatever accommodations, with the exception of like 4 hotels. The island is experiencing a total blackout. It's virtually impossible for 600 people to be coordinated in 600 different houses. There's not that many Casa Pericales anyway. Some of them are allowed, and it's awesome. It's dope. When I go back to Cuba, I will absolutely do that because I'm not going to be with a massive humanitarian aid mission. I didn't choose where we were staying. Yeah, it's not very fancy hotel, but it doesn't matter. It's Cuba. It's a very poor country, kept poor by the USA. What's ironic that these are privately owned hotels, so when people are talking about the electricity grid and what the hotels are doing, they have generators. They're literally taking up some of the necessary resources through private commerce. And it's ironic that the unjust system is precisely what the Americans want to bring about to the island. I didn't choose this. And they're literally just leaning into the lack of knowledge that people have.
People were complaining about like the 5-star hotel shit, right? I found it really strange that they clipped me talking about it, and it's objectively the truth, right? That is objectively the truth. I just said literally what the American government's restrictions are, right? And people were just like, sure, buddy. And they ran with it because it's so odd. It's so fucking odd. It's like, but it's just that, like, you're never going to go to Cuba. So for you, it doesn't matter. The State Department and the Treasury Department specifically makes it illegal for American citizens to stay at whatever accommodations they want to stay in, with the exception of like 4 hotels. Okay? I was first going to suggest you stay at a Casa Particular, but if you are there with a group, it would only make sense. Yeah, there's 600 people. The island is experiencing a total blackout. It's virtually impossible for 600 people to be coordinated in 600 different houses, or like however many different houses. There's not that many Casa Particulares anyway. Casa Particular is basically like an Airbnb system for regular Cubans to be able to open up their homes to American citizens that are coming in. Some of them are allowed. It's in the list of housing that you can stay at. Okay. And it's awesome. It's dope. When I go back to Cuba, I will absolutely do that, because I'm not going to be going with like a massive humanitarian aid mission. I didn't choose where we're staying, right? But if you're there with the whole group, it only makes sense. The hotel is the same place. I went through this whole thought process within seconds. It's weird that people wrote articles about it. Also, that hotel wasn't that fancy. I went there. Yeah, it's not a very fancy hotel, but it doesn't matter. It's fucking Cuba. It's a very poor country. It's been kept poor by the United States of America. And what's ironic about this restrictive process is that these are privately owned hotels. So when people are talking about like the electricity grid and what the hotels are doing, they have generators. Okay, not only do they have generators, but they're literally taking up some of the fucking necessary resources through private commerce. And it's ironic that unjust system is precisely what the Americans want to fucking bring about to the fucking island. So the people that are literally criticizing the claiming that the blockade doesn't exist don't know what the restrictions look like, number one. Number two, they're literally fucking complaining that like these hotels are they have their own generators and they are able to keep the lights on. Yeah, because they're fucking privately owned. that is the fucking problem. That's what America wants. America's literally saying they will only allow oil into the fucking island for companies like that, okay? For privately owned hotels like that. Beyond the hypocrisy of Piker's Vacation, this just isn't true. As I know from personal experience, if you'd like help booking a Casa Particular next time he visits, you can do so through Airbnb. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I didn't fucking choose this. And yet they're literally just leaning into the lack of knowledge overall. Okay, they're leaning into the lack of knowledge that people have. Okay.
John Hawken replies, no smart person could genuinely look at a communist country, see poverty there, and go, that must be because they're being kept poor by the USA, when communism always leads to massive poverty. We continue with Yeet saying, Hasan responds to the backlash surrounding his $690 shirt. Implies he puts his money where his mouth is, but 99% of that will never be known. They don't realize that, 1, people send me free shit all the time. 2, people gift me shit all the time. Not that it even matters, even if I go out and purchase it on my own, who gives a fuck? You're an idiot. You think the price of this button-up shirt is the reason why Cubans are suffering? It just makes sense. That propaganda works on hogs. I get it. When people are like, but that's about the optics. The fuck you mean? I'm literally in Cuba. Yeah, you will never know. Hopefully you will never know.
It is very funny that like there is this assessment of like, how much everything I was wearing. It's like, they don't realize that 1, people send me fucking free shit all the time. 2, people gift me shit all the time as well. Right. Like, not that it even matters. Even if I like go out and purchase it on my own, who gives a fuck what I'm wearing? You're an idiot. Like what? You think the price of this button up shirt is the reason why the Cubans are fucking suffering? Like what argument is this? Right. Yeah, he's like, look at this too. I mean, this is March's incredibly expensive hat, right? I mean, it's like, this person is memeing, I think, but I don't think this hat is actually that expensive. But regardless, right? You're an idiot for trying to justify it to them. I'm not trying to justify it. I didn't even bring that stuff up at all. Yeah, I mean, this was funny. Hasan's $690 button-down shirt alone can feed a family of 4 in Cuba for about a year. Damn, he should go to Cuba and give them money. Yeah. It's so strange. It's strange that, I mean, it makes sense that this propaganda works on the fucking hogs, too. Like, I get it. When people are like, but what about the optics? It's like, the fuck do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm literally in Cuba. You know, I'm in Cuba. It's unbelievable. You should have went shirtless. True. It's just all of it literally reduces to if you are in any way, shape, or form, like better off
also,
than the average.
Brace so dirty in that.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's really, it's like, oh wow, look at this rich fucking, look at this asshole, this guy's piece of shit. And then look at the guy next to him who doesn't matter. He's actually, that shirt he's wearing is for pores, the jeans too, that little hat.
It's crazy how all the criticism about you having money and using it all stem from communities of other wealthy people who don't do nearly as much activism as you. FD Signifier himself said that none of us are ever going to know about 99% of the instances of putting your money where your mouth is, nor should we. Yeah, you will never know. Well, hopefully you will never know. Okay, let's...
Goobird says, a true socialist, rules for thee but not for me. The most obvious political grifter in the world. Azel OL says, Hasan was forced to wear a $700 shirt and $1,000 glasses in a poverty-stricken nation. Hasan was forced to stay in a 5-star hotel while 11 million Cubans suffered blackouts. Hasan has no free will. He is a cuck in all things. Rothmus tweets this meme. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next Twitter Versus. Goodbye.